Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is a Get Up and Dad podcast, the show where we interview hardworking parents doing incredible things. This can be anything from a super duper tech dad to a busy business mummy blogger.
Let's get up and dance!
So today on the show we have Sarah Thompson. She is the co-founder and owner of ted&stitch. Sarah, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
No bother. Just to give people some context, can you tell us how many kids you have and how old they are?
So I suppose first of all, I am wife to Paul and I am mummy to Alfie, who is 6, Nathaniel, who we call Nate, he's 4, and Arthur, who is 2.
Awesome. And when your kids kind of grow up, how are you going to tell them how you got to where you are today?
I am going to tell them that sheer hard work and pushing through every obstacle and boundary that was put in front of us, I'm going to tell them that they can do anything if they work hard and put their minds to it.
So tell us how ted&stitch came about.
So ted&stitch is a custom embroidery business that I kind of started by myself, and now my husband's involved, and we embroider our own designs, and we also do custom workwear. We started it this February.
Okay, brilliant. So a few years ago, you went through an incredibly difficult journey. Can you tell us how that started?
So yes, Nathaniel, our second born, he was 9 months old, and I started to notice that he just didn't look right to me, and just as a mummy, everything about him just didn't feel right, and I just always had this feeling that, I actually always had this feeling since he was born that there was something going to be really different and special about our Nathaniel. And at 9 months, his stomach was just getting bigger and bigger, and I said to everybody, I was like, this isn't right, he's so heavy, there's something's going on here. And do you know, I think a lot of people thought that it was just a worried mummy, and I was just maybe being overprotective of my children and maybe a bit oversensitive about things, because people would have said that he was larger looking. And just 2 days after Christmas in 2016, I just was like, no, I can't take this anymore. And I just rung Paul to work, and I was like, we need to go to hospital. And he was like, what? No, you're totally overreacting. And I was like, yeah, I do. And I just took him up, and straight away, that was it. They told us that he had a large tumour in his stomach. And I suppose a few weeks later then, after we've been through tests and they'd scanned and seen, then we were told that he had cancer.
Okay. And I mean, what's going through your head at that point?
Oh, at that point, I was definitely thinking, this is it. Someone tells you that your child has cancer, you think this is it, this is the end. How are we ever going to do this? Cancer doesn't discriminate, and I didn't really know that. I was a bit naive, thankfully. I would love to be that person again that is naive, but now I'm not, and I just couldn't believe that this was happening to us, and I didn't know how we were going to get through it.
Okay. And I mean, where does it go from there? I mean, once you find that out, what happens next?
So when he was given his diagnosis, Nate was first diagnosed with a Wilms tumour, and he was given chemotherapy to try and shrink it, but it didn't really work, so they went in and they operated. So they took it out, and it was the size of a large melon whenever it came out. After that, then we realised he was misdiagnosed, and it was probably a worse diagnosis than what they had first thought. And he had a full month of radiotherapy, and then we had a full year of chemo after that. So it was intense, but he was incredible, and we get through it better than what I ever thought we would. Like, I'm so proud that we did. How we got on and how he coped and how he managed was just amazing. He's just everything that I think that everybody should kind of harness in life. He has those qualities, that strength, and he's so brave.
Okay. And what would you say is the hardest part of that journey?
I think one of the hardest parts, the whole journey was just absolutely horrendous. But, once you get into it, you get into the motion and you know what you're doing. Once they give you a clear path of treatment, you get on it, and you just do what you have to do. But one of the hardest parts for me was looking at somebody and telling them that our child had cancer. The look in their face really, it always really got me, because people didn't expect for a baby to have cancer. So it was always difficult for me looking in the faces of other people. And we always kept a really brave face, and we were always really brave, and in front of people, I never would have cried, I never would have faltered. It was always just game on. And that's why I kind of started. I wrote a blog, Coffee, Crayons and Cancer, and it was such a good release for me, because I didn't have to look at people's faces and see the pain when we told them that we had a child with cancer. Instead, I was able to just be like, look, do you know what? It's there, go and read it. This is our story, and this is how we're doing it.
Brilliant. And do you think that blog helped then in other ways?
Wow, yes, it really, really helped me. Helped me to offload whenever I couldn't offload to anybody else. I was trying to be a really strong mummy to Alfie. I was trying so hard not to let down. Looking at your mum and dad and telling them that their grandchild is sick, it's just a horrible thing to have to go through. And I could never go to them and be like, this is really scary, because I knew they were scared. So it was great. I just wrote it all down, and I didn't have to tell our friends. I didn't have to tell anybody how I felt. They knew how I felt because it was there in black and white. And I'd say I was actually really bad at talking. Everybody thought that I coped better than I did, because we were so good at having our game face on and just going and doing it. And since then, it's been incredible. The response that I had from it, and still have from other mummies who are unfortunately maybe going onto the same path, and they've been like, reading your words has really helped to settle my emotions and to know that I'm not alone. So to know that it helped me, and now maybe it's helping somebody else, is just incredible.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you as well. Knowing what you know now, what would you be saying to someone who's maybe in that situation where you were back in the hospital just after Christmas?
It's really, really hard and difficult for me to think of somebody else going through that. It's just awful. I wouldn't want anybody. And if people do contact me, and I find it really hard to say anything helpful, because I know how horrendous a journey it is, and we've lost so many friends, and it's a hard one. But I would say that to any mummy, any daddy, anybody that's even starting on not even a cancer journey, but a difficult journey, you are so much stronger than what you will ever know. And the support that you get from people when you just reach out and say, I need help, is incredible, because the tribe that we've built behind us from our journey is just like, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our tribe being like, yep, you can do this. And like I say, it might not always be face to face. Whenever I was writing the blog or writing on Instagram, somebody being like, yep, you've got this, just was like, do you know what? Yeah, you have. So I would say to anybody starting out in a difficult journey, you are so much braver than what you'll ever know. And yeah, you're strong, you can do this.
And in terms of Nate, where's Nate at now?
Oh, he is incredible. All of my children are incredible, and they all have these amazing qualities. Alfie, from the journey, he is just so strong and caring, and you find that with siblings that maybe have an acutely ill brother or sister. They're just these strong, amazing, capable children who really just take on that role. Nate now, he's been in remission for 2 years, and he's fiery, he's brave, he doesn't take no for an answer, and he's just everything that I've always hoped that he could be. When you're watching your child go through and they're so sick, you just pray that they could get to a stage. And there was a stage I was like, please let him be able to walk, and please let him be able to go to school. And in September he started school, and it was amazing. It was the best feeling. And any child starting school, any mummy knows the emotions that you go through. You're like, this is great, they're starting school, I'm so proud. But to walk Nate in on his first day was it was a dream come true.
And what would you say is the most fun thing for you to do? Like what I have like get up and dad things I do with the kids. What would you say is your get up and mum thing? Would you just like to get up, just go right and way here? What would you do? I
would say I am a real get up and mum. Like I am, no matter what the kids are like, let's do this. I'm like, yep, let's do it. If it's a rainy day, there's wellies on, there's waterproofs on. We do not melt in the rain in our house. We are out, we're jumping in puddles. And I don't know if I was as not as much fun, but I think I was more serious pre-Nate's diagnosis, and after it now we're like, we only live once. There's nights I would be like, I don't feel like making dinner, and my get up and mum would be, let's get a chippy and sit in the loch, or let's head to the beach and have a chippy in the beach. And we love to just get up and mum and dad in any way that we possibly can.
So, see Ted and Stitch, the company you run now, where does that kind of stem from?
So Ted and Stitch stemmed from, I would say, if I take it way back to before I even got my first embroidery machine, we were just in a really bad place. We'd got Nate through his treatment, and Paul and I think we gave everything that we had to him for so long that whenever we got him through it, we had nothing of ourselves left. I was in a really bad place, and so was my husband, Paul. The two of us we weren't doing good. And he said to me, he was like, I think you need to go and talk to somebody, because like I've said before, I didn't offload onto anybody. I tried to kind of keep it to myself and maybe wrote on a blog. And I decided I would go for counselling. Counselling is something that I thought was for somebody who just, couldn't cope at all. And I was coping, so, maybe I didn't need counselling. But do you know what? I did. And I sat down and I realised that I was given every inch of get up and mum to my children and to Paul and to our family, and I had nothing for me. There was nothing. The old Sarah had totally gone, and I worked this out, and I come back and I was like, I need something for me. And the whole time that Nate had been sick, I used to be like, I'd love to make him something. Why is there not like t-shirts out there or something that says, I'm brave, I'm awesome, I can do this? And Paul, he said to me, he was like, do you know what? Why don't you do what you've always wanted to do? Why don't you start making things that say positive messages on them and inspiring things? And we got our first machine, and it all just started from there, and it grew. And I made stuff for my boys, and I can't believe then that other people wanted me to make stuff from them for theirs, and it's been incredible.
And what would you say is unique about your business then?
It's personal. Everybody that follows Ted and Stitch, everybody that buys something on our website, they're not our customers. They're actually our friends. And I don't know if people know that when they're buying, but as soon as you come into the Ted and Stitch fold, that's it. You're our friends. And it's so true. The people, when someone contacts me on Instagram and they're looking for custom workwear, or they're looking me to put something on a sweatshirt, instantly I feel like they're not just anybody. They're our friend. And when someone's asking for something, like say they're asking for a hoodie for their friend that says bestie, or an auntie or a granny, or they're looking for their workwear, that's so personal for us, because we work so hard to get these titles, and I love that I'm able to then put that onto something for somebody and have a sweatshirt that says granny that the grandkids can give. And yeah, it's just, I think that's what makes it unique, is that we're so personal and we're out there trying to do the best that we can for everybody.
You've been going now since is it February?
Yeah, February.
You've been going since February, and you have, we're in the middle of a pandemic. You are incredibly successful. Where do you think the turning point was?
Oh wow, there was a few turning points, to be honest. I think lockdown helped us, because it helped us to step back and think, what do we want? And I'm always very careful to say, because I know lockdown's been absolutely horrible, but I feel like we had such a horrible time, and then lockdown kind of made us stop and reset our family and reset what we were thinking. And we pulled it all back, and I built a website over lockdown, so that really helped to kind of get us out there and get the message out there. And I decided to enter a competition with We Are Digital 24. They had a digital marketing competition advertised, and I thought, I'm so small, it's only us. I don't know if we would be any good, why would anybody want, but I'm going to apply. And I applied just in the mindset of, I actually think, and I did believe it, I thought that, if I won this could be incredible. We could do incredible things, we could go incredible places. And I just wrote that on the form. I was like, this could be awesome. And I can't believe that we won it. And it really was a big turning point, because we'd went from, I'd hoped that Paul could come home, my husband, and work together. And we were like, would we be able to do this? And as soon as we won that, we thought, somebody else sees something on our business that we see. They see something, and we're going to be able to do this. And I think that was the turning point then. We thought, we've got this.
And why does that make it why did it make a turn? I mean, did it make it easier or?
Oh, I don't think it made it easier, but it's been a lot of hard work. But I think that we were so set on what we were doing, and somebody else seeing it and thinking that it was great and that we were going to be able to make something out of it was a real turning point. I think that's and to have expert know-how on how to help to get us out there is just incredible, because there's only so much one woman can do. So to have that powerhouse of We Are Digital 24 behind us has just been incredible, and we're so thankful for them.
What would you say learning from running the business so far has helped you be a mum? Like, how have you implemented the skills you've learned in business into being mummy?
It's been really difficult for me. I had, like I said, I had put everything into the kids, and then all of a sudden I was a working mummy and a mummy in the middle of a pandemic and lockdown. So I think that I've maybe learned more skills now of organising, and I can't be laid back mum anymore. I have to be more organised, and the kids are why we're doing it. They're the most important thing out of everything and always will be. So I suppose what I've learned is to try and to juggle a bit better. We try and make sure that we're always taking time for the kids, and we're trying to show them that you can work hard, but that mummy and daddy can also play hard too.
And how has it been with the kids during the pandemic and lockdown? How has it been difficult? Has it been good working? I mean, having them in the house so much?
It's been amazing, and I suppose when Nate was sick, we were in a lockdown. We've kind of done this before. He was immunosuppressed, so people weren't allowed to come in and out of our house. We didn't really go anywhere. So we've kind of been here before, done this for over a year. So whenever we first entered lockdown, I definitely spiraled out of control and was like, I can't believe that the world is doing this to us again, that we're back into lockdown, that we don't deserve this. We've been here, but it actually was so good for us just to step back and reset, and we've just done the most amazing things with the kids. And growing a business with the kids right there, it is not easy, but it's incredible too that they're there for everything, every step of the way. It's what we want, and yeah, it's been great having them at home, but it's definitely had its challenges.
Okay, and see with growing the business, what would you say has been most difficult?
The most difficult thing for me is I always strive for the best, and if I make a mistake, mistakes happen. We're a really small company. If I send somebody something that's the wrong size or maybe the wrong colour, because I wrote down that they want black stitching, but actually on the web form they've wanted pink, and then they get it and they text me like, I am fully gutted. I take it so bad. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, it's just been so difficult for me to not. And we're human, I don't get everything right. So when I don't get things right, I do beat myself up about it a lot.
Yeah, I suppose that can be a knock-on effect, especially if you're busy, because then you have to try and fix and stuff, and it can make it even more difficult.
It is. It's difficult. And through this whole as well, starting a business in a pandemic, you can't get stuck. Yeah. It's a constant challenge. We're constantly kind of beating against ourselves trying to get what we need for everybody. But at the same time, I'm always like, right, do you know what? We're up for this challenge. We can do this.
So it's 2020 now. What would you want to tell yourself pre-mum, that everything that you've learned now before you had kids?
I would definitely want to tell the Sarah pre-mum that she is going to be able to handle anything. Whatever life throws at her, that she's going to get up and she's going to do it. I'd love to go back and tell myself that we were going to get through when Nate. I'd love to be like, do you know what? You're going to go through a hard time, but you're going to get to the other side of it. I'm massive into believing that there's always a valley, and we're always going to be up and we're going to be down. And I don't fool myself to think that we're at the peak and that we're never going to go back down again, because there's always hard times. So I would love to tell pre-mum Sarah, you will get through everything, and that at the end of it, you will have your family and your kids.
What would you say is the next big thing for you?
Where
we're going to go now?
The next big thing is just expanding TED. Like, I'm so excited. We're building a workshop. We've been doing it we've a workshop outside and we've been working inside as well. So we've got a big workshop underway, and yeah, I'm excited to think that we might be able to offer somebody else a job and grow the business and just get bigger and better.
Brilliant. And any can you let me in any secrets on the workshop?
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be very child friendly. But I don't know if there's any big secrets, but it's just a lovely big space, and I can't wait for everything to be all under one roof. I suppose we've lots of fun things coming up, and part of our thing is I love working with everybody else in a community, so I love collaborating with people and doing things. So we've got a lot of fun collaborations coming up, and yeah, it's fun to think that that's going to come out of our workshop and it's going to be our work.
And how do you find collaborating with people?
I love it.
Yeah.
I am really sociable, and I just love being with everybody, and I just love sharing what we have, and I feel like we've so much to share. And I think whenever people come together, absolutely amazing things can happen and amazing conversations can happen, and yeah, we can open up things to everybody.
So let me just be clear, currently your workshop's in the house, right? It's at home, okay? What's it like having the kids in the house and then having the workshop at the same time?
It's definitely challenging. My husband is awesome at trying to juggle and structure. He loves structure, whereas I'm a bit YOLO. And it can be a bit chaotic with the kids, and there's boxes of delivery coming, and it has its perks because the kids use them as for little Nerf gun battles and things, and yeah, it's a bit chaotic, but it really does work. And if someone had asked me, could we be getting 30 boxes of delivery into our house and processing them and getting them out with the kids in the middle, I would have been like, are you crazy? That's impossible. But it really works, and we do make it work. And I actually think the kids love it. They love how chaotic our house has become. We used to be quiet and have very little going on, and since February we have been full on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. And guys, if you want to follow Sarah, please head over to Ted&Stitch, their Facebook and their Instagram. If you like this podcast, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.
Let's get up and down!